Hello everyone, this is Azra Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, working in ISL Engineering College. I am taking the subject Power Systems 2 for Triple third year students. Today's class, I am going to discuss about percentage reactance, base reactance, and base kVA. Previous classes, we have seen what exactly is the fault and what is short circuit, what are symmetrical faults, what are asymmetrical faults, unsymmetrical faults. And we have seen about the limitation of fault current. So what is a short circuit? Whenever a fault occurs on a network such that the large current will flow in one or more phases, then it is called as short circuit. Okay, then we can say that short circuit has occurred. When a short circuit occurs, heavy current called as the short circuit current will flow through the circuit. If we take an example of a single phase generator of voltage V and having internal impedance Zi is supplying a load Z, under normal conditions, current in the circuit will be limited by load impedance Z. However, if the load terminals get shorted due to any reason, circuit impedance will be reduced to a very low value, being Zi in this case. So Zi is very small, therefore large current will flow in the circuit. This is called as short circuit current. So whenever a short circuit occurs, voltage at fault point will be reduced to zero and current of abnormally high magnitude will flow through the network to the point of fault. On the other hand, an overload means that loads greater than the design values will have been imposed on the system. Under such conditions, voltage at the overload point may be low but not zero. Under voltage conditions may extend for some distance beyond the overload point into the remainder of the system. Currents in the overloaded equipment are high, but they are substantially lower than that in the case of a short circuit. We have seen the causes of short circuit. Short circuit in the power system is a result of some kind of abnormal conditions in the system. It may be caused due to internal or external effects. When we see the internal effects, they are caused by breakdown of equipment or transmission lines from deterioration of insulation in a generator, transformer, etc. Such troubles may be due to aging of insulation, inadequate design, or improper installation. Coming to external effects causing short circuit include insulation failure due to lighting surges, overloading of equipment causing excessive heating, mechanical damage by public, etc. Then we have seen about the effects of short circuit. When a short circuit occurs, current in the system will increase to an abnormally high value while the system voltage will decrease to a very low value. Heavy current due to short circuit causes excessive heating which may result in fire or explosion. Sometimes short circuit takes the form of an arc and will cause considerable damage to the system. For example, an arc on a transmission line will not get cleared quickly, will burn the conductor severely, causing it to break, resulting in a long time interruption of the line. Low voltage created by the fault has a very harmful effect on the service rendered by the power system. If the voltage remains low for even a few seconds, consumers' motors may be shut down and generators on the power system may become unstable. So, due to these two effects of short circuit, it is desirable and necessary to disconnect the faulty section and restore normal voltage and current condition as quickly as possible. Then we have seen short circuit currents. Most of the failures on the power system lead to short circuit fault and will cause heavy current to flow in the system. The calculations of the short circuit currents are important for the following reasons. First one, a short circuit on the power system is cleared by a circuit breaker or a fuse. It is necessary therefore to know the maximum possible values of short circuit current so that switchgear of suitable rating may be installed to interrupt them. Second one is magnitude of short circuit current determines the setting and sometimes the types and location of protective system. Third one, the magnitude of short circuit current determines the size of the protective reactors which must be inserted in the system so that the circuit breaker is able to withstand the fault current. Fourth one, the calculation of short circuit currents enables us to make proper selection of the associated apparatus so that they can withstand the forces that arise due to the occurrence of short circuits. Let us see the faults in a power system. A fault occurs when two or more conductors that normally operate with a potential difference come in contact with each other. These faults may be caused by sudden failure of a piece of equipment, accidental damage, or short circuit to overhead lines, or by insulation failure resulting from lighting and surges. So it is very important for us to know what exactly is fault and how many types of faults are there and how to clear that fault so that the consumer will not get any disturbances in getting the power. Okay, so what will occur whenever two or more conductors with no, which that normally operate with a potential difference come in contact with each other, and these faults can be because of sudden failure of a piece of equipment, accidental damage, or short circuit to overhead lines, or by insulation failure resulting from lighting surges. Irrespective of the causes, faults in a three-phase system can be classified into two main categories: symmetrical faults and unsymmetrical faults. Let us see symmetrical faults. The fault which give rise to symmetrical fault currents is called a symmetrical fault. That is, equal faults current with 120 degrees displacement. These faults will have a displacement of 120 degrees, whereas unsymmetrical faults will not have equal displacement. They will be having unequal displacement. The most common example of symmetrical fault is when all the three conductors of a three-phase line are brought together simultaneously into a short circuit condition. Symmetrical faults are very severe faults and will occur infrequently in the power systems. These are also called balanced faults and they are of two types. That is triple LG and line to line. Only 2 to 5% of system faults are symmetrical faults. If these faults occur, system remains balanced but results in severe damage to the electrical power system equipment. Analysis of this fault is easy and usually carried on a phased basis. Three-phase fault analysis or information is required for selecting set phase relays, rupturing capacity of the circuit breakers, and rating of the protected CPL. Let us see the triple L fault. These kind of faults are balanced, which means the system will remain balanced after the fault has occurred. So this fault rarely occurs, although it is the harsh kind of fault that holds the largest current. So this current is used to determine the rating of the circuit breaker. Next, triple LG fault. The three-phase LG fault mainly comprises all the three phases of the system. This fault mainly occurs among the three phases as well as the ground terminal of the system. So there is a 2 to 3% of probability to occur this kind of fault. Symmetrical fault occurs when all the three conductors of a three-phase lines are brought together simultaneously into a short circuit condition as shown in the figure. Okay, what we are telling here, when we see the figure, all the three phases are shorted. Okay, this is the current IR, IY and IB. Voltage is VR, VY and VB. Voltage in R phase, voltage in Y phase and voltage in B phase. This is current in I phase, R phase, current in Y phase, current in B phase. So what we are doing here, symmetrical fault will occur when all the three conductors of a three-phase line, that is this one line, R line, Y line and B line, all these three conductors of the three lines are brought together simultaneously into a short circuit condition. If all the three lines are shorted together, then a symmetrical fault will occur. This type of fault will give rise to symmetrical current, that is equal fault currents with 120 degrees displacement. So when we refer the figure, fault currents IR, IY and IB will be equal in magnitude with 120 degrees displacement among them. Because of balanced nature of fault, only one phase need to be considered in calculations, since condition in the other two phases will also be similar. Following points may be particularly noted. First point is symmetrical fault rarely occurs in practice as majority of faults are of unsymmetrical nature. However, symmetrical fault calculations are discussed here to enable the students to understand the problems that short circuit conditions present to the power system. Second one, symmetrical fault is the most severe and imposes more heavy duty on the circuit breaker. Limitation of fault current. So when a short circuit occurs, whenever a short circuit occurs at any point in a system, short circuit current will be limited by the impedance of the system up to the point of fault. Okay. See students, this is a single line diagram of a power system where we are having a generator, transformer, and a fault is occurring on the system. So what we are telling here that whenever a short circuit occurs at any point in the system, short circuit current is limited by the impedance. So current will be limited by the impedance of the system up to the point of fault. So if a fault occurs on the feeder at point F, then the short circuit current from the generating station will have a value limited by the, so whatever current short circuit current is coming from the generator, that will be having a value that is limited by the impedance of the generator and transformer and the impedance of the line between the generator and the point of fault. Okay, so we are going to get a less value of current because of impedance is high, so current will be limited here. This shows that the knowledge of impedance of various equipment and circuits in the line of the system is very important for the determination of short circuit currents. In many situations, the impedances limiting the fault current are largely reactive, such as transformers, reactors, and generators. Cables and lines are mostly resistive, but where the total reactance in calculations exceed 3 times the resistance, the latter is usually neglected. Error introduced by this assumption will not exceed 5%. So the knowledge of the impedance of various equipment and circuits in the line of the system is very important for the determination of short circuit currents. In many situations, the impedances limiting the fault current are largely reactive, such as transformers, reactors, and generators. Cables and lines are mostly resistive, but where the total reactance in calculations exceeds 3 times the resistance, latter is usually neglected. Error introduced by this assumption will not exceed 5%. Now let us see unsymmetrical faults. Those faults which give rise to unsymmetrical currents, that is unequal line currents and unequal displacement, are called as unsymmetrical faults. So students, what are unsymmetrical faults? The faults which give rise to unsymmetrical currents are called as unsymmetrical faults. So when we say here unequal unsymmetrical currents, then it is unequal line current and unequal displacement. Okay, line currents are also not equal and the displacement is also not equal in case of unsymmetrical faults. Unsymmetrical fault may take one of the following forms. First one is single line to ground fault. Second is line to line fault. Third is double line to ground fault. Okay, three types of faults are there in unsymmetrical faults, that is single line to ground, line to line, and double line to ground. The great majority of faults on the power system are of unsymmetrical nature, the most common type being a short circuit from one line to ground. The calculations of such fault currents are made by symmetrical components method. The line to ground fault, that is LG, is the most common fault and 65 to 70% of faults are of this type. It causes the conductor to make contact with the earth or ground. 15 to 20% of faults are double line to ground faults and they will cause the two conductors to make contact with the ground. The line to line faults occurs when two conductors make contact with each other, mainly while swinging of lines due to winds, and 5 to 10% of the faults are of this type. These are also called unbalanced faults since their occurrence causes unbalance in the system. The unbalance of the system means that the impedance values are different in each phase, causing unbalanced current to flow in the phases. Okay, so unbalance means what here? Unbalanced condition is what? Unbalanced current will be flowing in the phases. So these are more difficult to analyze and they are carried by per phase basis similar to three phase balance faults. The unsymmetrical faults are classified into two types, that is line to line, double line to ground, that is LG, LL and LLG. So these are the diagram for LG, LL and LLG faults. Let us first see single line to ground fault. Single line to ground fault mainly occurs once a single conductor falls towards the ground terminal. So around 70 to 80% of the fault within the power system is a single line to ground fault. Next is line to line. Line to line fault mainly occurs once two conductors are short circuited and also due to heavy wind. So the line conductors can be moved because of heavy wind. They may touch with each other and cause a short circuit. So 15 to 20% of the faults can occur approximately. Double line to ground fault. In this kind of fault, both the two lines get in touch with each other through the ground, so there is a 10% probability for faults. So let us see the today's topic, that is percentage reactance. The reactance of generators, transformers, reactors, etc. is usually expressed in percentage reactance to permit rapid short circuit calculations. The percentage reactance of a circuit is defined as it is the percentage of the total phase voltage drop in the circuit when full load current is flowing. Okay, so what we are telling here, that the reactance of generators, reactance is nothing but X, it is represented by X. So the reactance of generators, so we all know that impedance is equal to combination of resistance and reactance, Z is equal to R plus JX. So I'm talking about the reactance, that is X. I'm talking about X here. So the reactance of generators, transformers, reactors, etc. is usually expressed in percentage reactance to permit rapid short circuit calculations. Okay. So to get the short circuit calculations, we are representing this reactance in percentage reactance. Percentage reactance of a circuit is defined as it is the percentage of the total phase voltage drop in the circuit when full load current is flowing. That is, when we write it in the form of equation, percentage X is equal to Ix by V into 100, where I is nothing but full load current, V is the phase voltage, X is the reactance in ohms per phase. Okay. So this is percentage reactance. It is the percentage reactance of the total phase voltage drop. It is a percentage reactance is a percentage of the total phase voltage dropped in the circuit when full load current is flowing. That is percentage X is equal to Ix by V into 100. I is the full load current, V is the phase voltage, and X is the reactance in ohms per phase. Now let us see the percentage reactance. Alternatively, percentage reactance can also be expressed in terms of kVA and kV as under. Percentage X is equal to kVA in kVA X by 10 kV square, where X is the reactance in ohms. If X is the only reactance element in the circuit, then short circuit current is given as ISC is equal to V by X, or that is equal to I into 100 by percentage X. So by putting the value of X from the expression 1, okay, we are putting this ISC is equal to I into 100 by percentage X. That is, short circuit current is obtained by multiplying the full load current by 100%. 100 by percentage, 100 by percent X. For instance, if the percentage reactance of an element is 20% and the full load current is 50 amps, then short circuit current will be 50 into 100 by 20, that is 250 amps, when only that element is in the circuit. So it may be worthwhile to mention here the advantage of using percentage reactance instead of ohmic reactance in short circuit calculations. Percentage reactance values remain unchanged as they are referred through transformers, unlike ohmic reactances which become multiplied or divided by the square of the transformation ratio. This makes the procedure simple and permits quick calculations. So what we are doing here, if we know the percentage reactance of an element is 20% and the full load current is 50 amps, then short circuit current will be equal to V by X, or I into 100 by percentage X. So that is 50 into 100 by 20. So just now we have given one equation, that is ISC. We can calculate short circuit current by I into 100 by percentage X. So like that, 50 into 100 by percentage X is 20. So 250 amps is the short circuit current. With the help of this, we can find out how much is the short circuit current in the circuit. Okay. Percentage reactance and base kVA. So from From equation 2, that is percentage x is equal to kVA into x by 10 kV square. So from this equation, from equation 2, that is percentage x is equal to kVA x by 10 kV square, it is clear that percentage reactance of an equipment depends upon its kVA rating. Generally, the various equipments used for the in the power system have different kVA ratings. Okay, different kVA ratings will be there. So generally, all the various equipment used in the power system has different kVA ratings. So therefore, it is necessary to find the percentage reactances of all the elements on a common kVA rating. This common kVA rating is called as base kVA. Okay, but base kVA rating is nothing but common kVA rating, which is used to find out the percentage reactances of the elements. The value of this base kVA is quite unimportant and maybe equal to that of the largest plant or equal to the total plant capacity, or it can be any arbitrary value. The conversion can be effected by using the following relation. Percentage reactance at base kVA is equal to base kVA by rated kVA into percentage reactance at rated kVA. So students, all of you make a note of this formula. Okay, percentage reactance at base kVA is equal to base kVA by rated kVA into percentage reactance at rated kVA. So if we see the example, yes, for example, a 1000 kVA transformer with 5% reactance will have a reactance of 10% at 2000 kVA base. Let us see the illustration of this, whatever we have said, the fact, okay. So this is a single line diagram of a system. So suppose a short circuit fault between the three phases occurs at high voltage terminals of transformer. So it will be shown that whenever value of base kVA we may choose, the value of short circuit current will be the same. So this is a generator and having the rating 2500 kVA, 10% is the reactance, and this is a transformer. It is a step up transformer 11 by 66 kV, and its rating is 1000 kVA and its reactance is 5%, and this line is a 66 kV line, single line diagram. This is called as single line diagram. So let us see the illustration. The fact that the value of base kVA does not affect the short circuit current needs illustration. Let us consider a three-phase transmission line operating at 66 kV and connected through a 1000 kVA transformer with 5% reactance to a generating station bus bar. The generator is of 2500 kVA with 10% reactance. So single line diagram we have seen it. Okay, suppose a short circuit fault between three phases occurs at high voltage terminals of transformer. It will be shown that whatever value of base kVA we may choose, the value of short circuit current will be the same. Suppose we choose 2500 kVA as a common base kVA. On this base value, reactances of the various elements in the system will be reactance of transformer at 2500 kVA base is equal to 5 into 2500 by 1000, that is 12.5%. So how we are getting this 5 into 2000 by 1000? Percentage reactance at base kVA is equal to base kVA by rated kVA into percentage reactance at rated kVA. By using this formula, we are writing the reactance of transformer at 2500 kVA base. Then similarly, reactance of generator at 2000 kVA base, that will be 10 into 2500 by 2500, that is 10%. Total percentage reactance on common base will be addition of these two, 12.5 plus 10, that is 22.5. The full load current corresponding to 2500 kVA base at 66 kV is given by I is equal to 2500 into 1000 by root 3 into 66 into 1000, that is 21.87 amps. Short circuit current ISC is given as I into 100 by percentage X, that is I value we calculated as 21.87 into 100 by percentage X is 22.5. So short circuit current is 97.2 amps. So which is same as the previous case. Now suppose we choose 5000 kVA as the common base value. Reactance of transformer at 5000 kVA base will be equal to 5 into 1000 by 1000, that is 25%, and reactance of generator at 5000 kVA base will be equal to 10 into 5000 by 2500, that is 20%. Total percentage reactance of the common base will be equal to 25 plus 20, that is 45 percentage. Full load current corresponding to 5000 kVA at 66 kV will be I equal to 5000 into 1000 by root 3 into 66 into 1000, that is 43.74 amps. Therefore, short circuit current ISC is equal to I into 100 by percentage X. I into 100 by percentage X, that is 43.74 into 100 by 45, 97.2 amps. It is the same as the previous case. So, from the above illustration, it is clear that whatever may be the value of the base KVA, short circuit current is same. However, in the interest of simplicity, numerically convenient value for base KVA should be chosen. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope today's video is clear to everyone. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, students. So, next class I will be telling about the short circuit KVA. That is the product of normal system voltage and short circuit current at the point of fault expressed in KVA is called as short circuit KVA. Then reactor control of short circuit currents, location of reactors. So short circuit current limiting reactors can be connected in series with each generator or in series with each feeder and in bus bars. So all these three conditions, that is generator reactors, feeder reactors, bus bar reactors, we are going to see in the next class. Then we are going to see the steps for symmetrical fault calculations and few numericals based on this topic. Okay, numericals are important to students. You may expect numericals in long questions. So we have to draw the diagrams and you have to write the equations and substitute the formula and choose the formula which is applied to the problem. Okay, problems are easier if you understand it. All the students should watch the video from start till the end for all the subjects and do subscribe the YouTube channels of all the faculty members who are taking you subjects. So that whenever we make a new video, you will get a notification and you have to watch the video and then only you have to give the attendance. So 75% attendance is mandatory to write the internal exam. So everyone should write the uh, today's homework. You write it, all of you. Make a note of it. So for a single line diagram, where we have considered a three-phase transmission line operating at 66 kV connected through a 1000 kVA transformer with 5% reactance to generating station bus bar. Okay, this problem we have done now with 2500 kVA as common base and 5000 kVA as common base value. So all of you do this numerical in your in a piece of paper and submit to me as a homework. Okay, so this one I have written here, as you can see here. First one, you can take a screenshot also and you can do it, and you can refer the textbook VK Mehta, Principles of Power System by VK Mehta. I have taken this from that book only. So Principles of Power System by VK Mehta, you can refer it and do this problem as a homework and show it, and then only I will give you the attendance. Okay. Thank you students for watching the video.